They wish to cure us, but I say to you, we are the cure. The cure for that infirm, imperfect condition called Homo sapiens. They have their weapons. We have ours.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Trilogy Multiverse with your host, the guy who has been played by, I want to say, 4 different actresses in...
Wait, the guy being played by 4 different actresses?
Yeah.
Okay.
My character's being played by 4 different actresses. Maybe 5. Throughout the whole movies, Kyle Charles. And my age doesn't make sense at this point. Kyle Charles.
Right. And I'm what happens when a toad gets struck by lightning. Steve Chung.
And today we're going to talk about the X-Men movies. The original timeline before Future Past fixed everything.
Well, yeah. Well, here's the thing. I think First Class is a separate timeline, anyways. Yeah. So when you say the original timeline, we mean just X-Men 1, 2, and 3 at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
And wait.
Yeah. Well, see. Okay. Not to go too in depth for it, because probably we'll just split on the other half. But there's stuff in X-Men 1, 2, and 3 that doesn't line up with X-Men First Class. Yeah. So I will say X-Men First Class, X-Men 2000, right, is one timeline. X-Men First Class is another timeline. X-Men Days of Future Past rewrites the First Class timeline, even though it's got people from the original timeline in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time is a flat circle.
Well, not only that is when you go for the Wolverine trilogy, you're like, okay, Wolverine 1 and 2 take place in the original timeline.
Yeah.
Even though the end of Wolverine has Xavier and Magneto.
Yeah.
As though they are from the first. Well, they're not really from the First Class timeline, but they're leading into Days of Future Past, which is a separate timeline. And then Logan takes place in another timeline. Maybe
timeline, they call it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, right? I like how, by the way, Logan just is like, yeah, that stuff happened. Moving on. Doesn't reference it as though you can take place whatever you want.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. So yeah, the original timeline X-Men, I guess, is the best thing to call it, right?
Yeah. I would say the Singer trilogy, but it's not when Bryan Singer does all 3 of them, does he?
Well, yeah. The Singerverse. Yeah. How did you find it when you first watched this movie?
The first one,
yeah,
I loved it. I still do to this day. I saw it twice, both days of premiere. So I saw it in Orlando, Florida, in 2000 when it came out. That's day because I happened to be in Florida, so we went and saw it. It was amazing. And then I saw it again when it came out in England, which I think was like literally like 2 weeks. Back then when there was weird periods between films.
Yeah, where when the movie stars had to go to every premiere in every single part of the world.
Yeah.
And now they just go to the one premiere.
Yep, and then that's it. Yeah. So I saw that. Yeah, saw opening day over here, and then I'm pretty sure I saw it a couple more times in the cinema.
Yeah. I have to say, it was probably the first film that I could, you come out of it and I just could remember exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Because I paid attention to it. Not that it's just because, it's X-Men. It's, it's actually really good.
Yeah.
Comic book adaptation. When I watch back now, though, I'm like, it's not bad.
No.
It's low-key.
It's low-key.
As far as...
And it looks dated, but it's still kind of visually wise, it looks dated, whatever. But the story still kind of holds up to me because they don't try to go over the top with the special effects.
That's the thing. It's very much. You know what? We don't know how well we're going to do, so we've got a set amount of budget to do stuff. Even X2 wasn't too extravagant. It was a leap up in budget, but it wasn't like. Then you get them fighting Sentinels left, right, and center, and all the CGI everywhere.
Yeah. It was really good, practical effects, most of it.
Yeah. Okay, what did you think of the cast? And when I say the cast, okay, we'll go through the cast best, and then you can speak to me as to which X-Men you think maybe should have been if you in the first X-Men movie, or do you think this is the right cast? Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I will just do the main characters slash actors.
Yeah.
And ones that you think should be in it, or the ones that you think should have been saved till later, or stuff like that, right?
Okay.
But of course, in an X-Men film, you would have to have Charles Xavier, and you would have to have Magneto.
Yeah.
So,
that's a given.
Yeah, Patrick Stewart, because he looked the part, right? not to say his acting isn't on point, right? But mainly because he looked the part more than anything else.
Yeah. He did. He was great.
What did you think of Charles Xavier being kind of? I'm gonna say either he's super upper class American, or he's just straight up English.
Because they've kind of like incorporated to the comics, right? Because like they've made him kind of English. Nowadays,
yeah, well, that's the thing, isn't it? I'm just gonna So they don't obviously specify exactly where he's from.
Yeah.
But the accent doesn't kind of. It only gives leeway in certain directions.
Yeah.
Unless you're gonna say one of his parents was British, of course.
Yeah, and they kind of make it make sense in First Class and all that. But
yeah,
I liked it. Yeah.
Do you think he should have put an American accent, or do you think it doesn't matter? It doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter that Ian McKellen has an English accent either, and he's supposed to be German/Jewish.
Yeah, but like you got to remember, it's how I saw the whole Ian McKellen thing with the English accent, because like when you see like historical Greek films or stuff like that, or whatever.
Yeah.
Everyone has like British accents, like. Oh, okay.
Well, let me point out. I don't know if you've ever seen it. Enemy at the Gates.
No.
Especially the Russians versus the Germans.
Yeah.
So you got people with American accents. I think they were playing Germans. And you got Russian accent. The good guys who were Russian had British accents. All right. Okay. I guess that's how we're rolling.
Yeah. Sure. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So inverse, fine. But I didn't mind it here. It's just the quality of the actor. Like these two, it's just like it didn't matter where they were from. You got the gravitas of the characters.
Yeah.
Even and I have to say, I enjoyed that Magneto wasn't outlandish, because he could have been. He could have been hammed up as well. Yeah. But they played it really low key, as to this is a serious situation.
Yeah.
And obviously that Magneto's not as buffed up and in purple and pink.
Yeah.
So let me put it this way, yeah. If Magneto was wearing purple and pink and Ian McKellen being gay, I would have. I don't know about the implications of that.
Yeah. Think about that now. That would have came off really insensitive. Yeah.
So do you think, as far as parts of his costume, he should have had like some sort of red pink lining? Because most of these costumes are colorless. Well, I don't know. As far as the people that do have costumes, I'm not going to talk about Sabretooth, who just looked like he's been living in the forest for several years.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I kind of liked his costume just being like basic and just like he was just wearing a jacket which was kind of long.
I like his 3/4 cape as well.
Yeah, I thought, okay, cool. That's kind of realistic because
then he wraps it around his arm as well when he walks to keep up. Oh, no, okay, I get it. It looks regal.
Yeah.
So you can't say much about Patrick Stewart Xavier costume wise or anything like that because just wearing suits and he's in his wheelchair. Fair enough. Were you sad that he didn't have the yellow wheelchair?
No, because I think that would have looked like nowadays you can get away with it. Yeah, it would look alright, but I think then it would have not helped the film itself, you know what I mean? Because then they're like, okay, cool, this is too comic-y, like too...
Yeah, yellow floating wheelchair.
Yeah. So like, that's a bit much,
Ian McKellen's... I think the helmet looked too tight on X-Men 1, but I think they were better in the other X-Men because they fit his face, but his face didn't poke out of the curved sections.
Yeah. You can tell they got more of a budget for costumes in the second and third one.
Yeah. All right. Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. What can you say? Great casting.
Yeah.
Didn't look the part. I mean, he did look. They made him look the part, but he was not 5'3".
No.
And if he was 5'3", he would never be able to lead this franchise.
No. It's one of those things. I was like straight away. I was like, makes sense to me.
Yeah.
realistically, Wolverine in the comics, when you think about his body proportion, doesn't make any sense.
No.
Like a full-grown man who's like meant to be 5'3", and a normal developed body wouldn't make any sense.
No, that's right. I did think he took some parts of our boy Scott Summers to make him a more rounded character.
Yeah, it did.
Which then shafted Cyclops. But Oh, look, you know who's the lead and who isn't. Not that it's fair. Not that they should have been that way. Really, they should have been kind of together as not necessarily not the co-leads or anything like that, but just be
on the same level.
Exactly. Well, have more of a presence and not be the. Oh, first of all, what did you think of James Marsden as Scott Summers?
I liked it. I liked just James Marsden in general. I liked him as Scott Summers.
I thought he played the part well, as in, not that he was stiff, but the character of Cyclops is a bit of a stiff.
Yeah. Especially around then, he was in the comics. He was a bit of a stiff, and then he had his awesome transformation recently.
Yeah. But the thing is, and I don't blame James. Like, I think he could have played a really good Cyclops, given the stuff that But I think he wasn't given that material because they had to take chunks of that out and give it to Wolverine. If Wolverine was a bit more of a aggravating character, like in the comics, he wouldn't be likable. So
he wouldn't be.
What did you think of okay, so I was going to say, what do you think of the Wolverine costume? Basically, so Cyclops' costumes, not the first one, right? No, yeah, still, but basically, I don't know why they didn't leave it in. There was a cut scene, but basically, talking about costume, because they had to go for in the finale in X-Men 1, and they wear the costumes.
Yeah.
And then Cyclops is like, Scott Summers is like, how well are you taking orders? And Wolverine's like, someone like, that's fine. So, okay, you got to wear this costume. It's all right. Whose costume is it? It's one of mine. All right. And I think that was something they should have just left in. Of course, Cyclops' proportions are roughly Wolverine proportions, and they're not going to have a Wolverine costume for Wolverine. So
because that would make no sense. If he just joined the team just out of coincidence at the moment, it would have made no sense. We just had one.
Yeah. As generally, as far as the costumes go, I get why they're all black leather and stuff like that. They just didn't look distinguishable. I mean, they had big X's in the center, but. And each one had different color lining piping.
Yeah.
But they weren't not necessarily the patterns of the comics. I think later on Wolverine had the claws and stuff like that. Those the signature Wolverine claw marks. But you could have put a costume on anyone, and anyone would have been roughly the same.
Which I didn't really have a problem with it.
Okay.
At the time.
All right.
Because as much as I like the X-Men, even in the comics wise.
Mm-hmm.
Their costumes, when you think about it, look at it now.
Yeah.
There's the only thing that makes them know that they're on a team, they have an X somewhere.
Okay.
And it's kind of like always in mishmash. Like, okay, this guy's wearing red and yellow, and this guy's wearing blue and purple. You know what I mean? Just stuff like that. It's like, where's the unity? This makes no sense.
Fair enough. I think at this point of this time. What they were and did make sense because it was a post-Matrix world, and that was kind of what was happening as far as looks were concerned. I didn't think this is more of a sci-fi film rather than a comic book film.
Yeah.
So you go in that direction, and you follow suit in if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
When they get a bit more, okay, here we are. We got money. We know we've got the audience. We can go a bit more. Signature, fair enough. Fair enough. I think they were just playing it safe.
And I get that because, besides Blade, if you think about it, this was the only sort of comic book film, and you don't want to sort of shoot yourself in the leg.
Previous adaptations had the too comic accurate and didn't look right.
Yeah.
Whereas when I say too comic accurate, I mean it was the spandex.
Yeah.
It's a bit. It's a bit wonky in itself.
It's not like what they have now. Sort of things,
previous to this, you had the Superman suit that Christopher Reeves had. You had the Spider-Man suit that Nicholas Hammond had. Those spandex suits, and they didn't. Even though the Spawn suit did look good.
Yeah, but Spawn was terrible. But yeah.
Okay. And then you had the Batman suits, which, you know,
with just rubber, and you could tell the person looked super uncomfortable. But yeah.
Anyways. So as far as an X-Men story is concerned, the Xavier would be in it, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Wolverine would be in it. Magneto would be in it. Cyclops would be in it. Jean Grey would be in it.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as we would expect from an X-Men franchise, right?
Yeah.
Do you mind that they changed Jean Grey to a doctor here?
No, didn't mind
Dr. Jean Grey.
It kind of gives Jean more to do.
Yeah,
because
I didn't mind it too much. It just was one of those things. Like, what does she do?
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what's even worse in the cartoon, where she didn't even have a code name.
No.
Yeah. So
just Jean Grey.
And then they shouldn't even have a code name here either. So whatever, right?
Jean Grey.
Yeah. Give her something to do, because other than all the boys love her. What else? What she got to do? You know?
Yeah, her character trait. Yeah, is boys love me for no reason.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, yeah. I didn't mind them. I think they needed that character to do that. And they didn't have Beast, so. Yeah, they didn't want to use him yet, or what? I don't know. Who knows if they wanted to use him?
If I remember correctly, there was it was budget reasons why they didn't have Beast.
Well, no, hold on. Do you reckon they could have had Hank McCoy and not Beast?
Well, he's in one of the background parts in one.
He's on the TV. He's on the TV.
Yeah.
We're not looking like Frasier.
No.
Kelsey Grammer, even though that's what he looked like later on.
Yeah.
However, when they do the Cure storyline, Kelsey Grammer does not have the makeup ever off, so you could argue,
get around it.
Even though they contradict each other, because he has been Beast for several years now, so he could not have been human while on the TV screen unless you're going to use the image inducer thing, which they never introduce.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, that version of Hank McCoy is not that. The guy, it was just some guy also called Hank McCoy, because Bolivar Trask. No, I was going to say Bolivar Trask is black, but he's not. They just called him Trask. So, yeah.
No, I think they actually do call him Bolivar Trask in number 3.
Do they?
Yeah.
I think he might be in the credits as Bolivar Trask, but I think they just called him. I'm sure they just call him Trask.
But
in either case,
it makes sense.
So you didn't. What did you think of Famke Janssen as Jean Grey?
I liked her because I like her as an actress. I thought, she's pretty cool in this.
I tell you, what was kind of funny, right? She clearly was older than Cyclops, and I don't know if because James Marsden was 26.
Was he at the time?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure something around that. Yeah. So I'm like, right, okay. He looks kind of young. If anything, sometimes at the age he was playing a Cyclops, sometimes those characters, he could have played a teenager as well, I
don't want to go that far.
No, I'm just saying, you know how sometimes they cast 20-plus-year-olds as teenagers?
Yeah, he doesn't look that young.
No. I wasn't going to say he that young, but what was also funny is, what's his name? Who played Bobby Drake? Sean Ashmore.
Yeah.
He was 23.
Sean Ashmore.
So, he could. I'm saying at James Marsden's age, he could have been an ex-kid.
Oh, wow. Because, he's 49 now.
Yeah.
And she is... 1 second. I'll let you
57.
57, 58.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, she's good, 10 years older than him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, cool. I don't know if they should have cast someone younger as Jean Grey or someone older as Cyclops or someone you had to get somewhere in the middle, I think.
Yeah, but in 1 and 2, she still looked right. Reddit, not want to judge on her looks or anything, but
no. I just not that I was doing that ad. But
I'm saying I know you weren't. But I'm saying she looks young-ish in that.
Yeah.
It's not till number 3 when she becomes Dark Phoenix. But then again, I don't know if that's just because of the makeup they put on her to make her look evil.
Yeah,
that kind of aged her up a bit.
Yeah, because Hugh Jackman was 30 when he was Wolverine.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those things where you're like, okay.
The Jackman, yeah.
But not to say Jean Grey didn't play like Jean Grey, but Jean Grey does not have really much to do other than be Jean Grey. So she's a flexible kind of character.
Yeah, I was saying.
I don't know if you necessarily need to say that she's a doctor per se, but you could say she's has done studies in the field, whatever, right? Yeah. It's not as if it's out of the realms of possibility to have it.
It makes sense because I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, in X-Men they called her the field, not nurse, but field medic.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's not as if Jean Grey has a certain specialty. Everyone will be like, "Oh, that's not comic book accurate." It isn't. But at the same time,
what is she doing in the comics until recently?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. She's gonna stick an X match and everyone falling over. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bruce Davison as Senator Robert Kelly. Now, he played his part well.
Yeah.
And did what he needed to do. I don't know. He wasn't as super racist, well, not racist, anti-mutant as Senator Kelly has.
Yeah. And
depending on the level, right?
He didn't have enough time to become.
Well, yeah. The way they wrote him, that he's got concerns, and he definitely has like a point.
Yeah.
But it's not like, you know what, we just hate them because they're them.
Yeah.
Even though he does have a tinge of that, but it's just like, it's not unfounded. It's not like, oh, I just hate this guy because he's a redneck, for example.
Yeah.
Okay, Mystique, Rebecca Romijn, Stamos at that time.
Yeah.
Mystique. I was like, why is she naked? I get the scales, by the way, right?
Yeah, I get the scales.
Because then they flip over and they turn into whatever it is, all right? I get it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, though, why she had to have no clothes on.
Yep.
As far as the logic is concerned, if you're going to say she can shapeshift
material and stuff or whatever.
Yeah, well, it's an awkward one, isn't it? Because if you say she can shapeshift, but she can't shapeshift her clothes, fair enough.
Yeah.
And then she has to go and get clothes. Yeah, okay. But if you're saying, but we see her shapeshift into people with clothes, so that doesn't work either.
No.
And if she takes her jacket off, what happens? Does she lose some DNA?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's an awkward one.
Yeah, a lot of it makes like her film version doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah,
at all.
Though she's got enough notoriety as a character that you would kind of expect her to be here.
Yeah.
The thing is, Mystique doesn't get to do much whatsoever, and when they retcon her to exist in First Class, all right.
Yeah, sure.
That she has a relationship with, she has some sort of brother-sister relationship with Xavier, even though here they just whatever.
Just pretend that doesn't.
As far as a character, I think she was underutilized in the sense that you'd expect her to be like the decoy octopus of this.
Yeah.
Where you don't know if it's her or what. How is she doing? Like, is she going to go to stealth missions and stuff like that? Not stealth missions, but go in there and find information in a particular way.
Like, this was her first acting role, right? If I remember correctly. I think she was a model beforehand. Yeah, she was a model beforehand, and I think it's her first acting role.
Right.
And
it's go on. I was gonna say,
tell that's why she didn't really speak. Right.
Okay. Ones. She was unproven at this point. You were saying,
yeah.
She just needed to stand there and look pretty, which as a model she has a very lot of experience doing.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Now she's a great actor, but like, I think then it's like, okay, you just sort of stand there. You say your one line for the first two films.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's. Sorry. Anna Paquin as Rogue. I think she played Rogue as from the series is consistent, right?
Yeah.
In and I did get vibes of Rogue from the X-Men comics or even the cartoon here, right? But just not the power set.
Yeah.
Which then it throws a little bit some other things off key. Because you kind of just expect her to have the power set. I know there's going to be like, well, Miss Marvel and all that stuff. And it's just like, okay, how do we explain this? How do we explain that? You know? So fair enough with them not doing it.
Yeah. Which I'm alright with.
Yeah.
But yeah, because again, as you said, when the Age of the Matrix, they kind of made her more of a sort of edgy, not edgy, but oh, I'm sad about stuff sort of character rather than which I'm okay with.
Yeah,
Product of the 90s, you know.
Sean Ashmore as Iceman.
Yeah, he was alright.
Yeah, well, the thing is, he doesn't play like Bobby. You expect Bobby Drake to play?
Yeah. Again, he's all like, "Oh, I'm needy."
Yeah, well, it just seems a bit more shut in than you expect.
Yeah.
Bobby Drake. And at this point, Bobby Drake was not gay, so
no.
That was not that I expect the dude to be whatever, right? But a bit more oomph to the character is something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's as far as the main cast was concerned. As a lineup, I mean, there's obviously more characters, but we can't go through everything.
Oh, he did say Halle Berry Storm.
Oh, damn, how did I forget that? Yeah. What did you think of that?
She got better drawing going on. Like the first one, they didn't really get her to do anything really.
Yeah.
Except for that weird line about frogs.
To be fair, I think she looked the part as well. I think they fixed her hair, made her look better.
Yeah. And then they dropped the accent, which made it better.
Yeah. Because not that she can pull it off or anything like that, but hey, but she did have more authority later on as a character.
Yeah.
And she seemed to do more. She seemed to have a bit more snap to the character.
Yeah.
But in the first one, she's not necessarily background, but I don't want to say that they. Okay, sometimes they put in characters. It feels like that are popular. Right?
Yeah.
Now that's what I was about to shift over to. The lineup of first of all, the X-Men lineup. Was that the one you would expect at the time of an X-Men movie, or do you think that was just because they were the more known characters?
I think it's the lineup. No, it's you're the last bit you said.
Yeah. Do you think they kind of like were okay? The X-Men cartoon series. That's what most people know. So let's get those characters in.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I think they did. Which kind of makes sense. You go to safe.
Yeah, exactly. And not that I was expecting the original X-Men lineup, which would have been Angel, Beast, Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Iceman.
Yeah.
Because they don't have too much personality between the entire group.
No.
And when I say that, I mean they don't have the opposition character like Wolverine.
Yeah, you need that guy.
Or people with different experiences.
Yeah.
Because first of all, they're all white people, right? So how much discrimination can you get?
Diversity. Yeah.
So I get it. Take the key more important, more popular characters, or the more media expected characters.
Yeah.
As far as the lineup for the Brotherhood of Mutants, not evil mutants, just the Brotherhood of Mutants.
Yeah.
Toad, Sabretooth,
Magneto.
There's only
Mystique.
two.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Okay, well. And Mystique.
That was it. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Well.
Interesting.
I mean, would you? Toad? Okay. Question mark that one. Sabretooth's expected because you have Wolverine in the movie, even though they don't have the backstory. They at all. Whatever, right?
Yeah.
And this Sabretooth is not Victor Creed. Yeah.
I'll say he is, but...
Well, here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
The heights don't line up, first of all. But secondly, as far as the end of the first Wolverine movie is concerned, you could reconcile the characters, if... You know how at the end of Wolverine movie, they shot Wolverine in the head with the adamantium bullet that wiped his memories. Yeah.
Yeah.
If they also shot Sabretooth in the head with an adamantium bullet, and then he goes and runs off in the forest somewhere, and then he could become this Sabretooth because
he still can. Like, if you write it well, you can, because you can basically said like we don't know what's happened between, I want to say, 1989 or whatever it was to 2000. You don't know what happened. Sabretooth could have got recaptured by...
Well, to be fair as well, I'm going to say this movie takes place in the near future, so it's not 2000 exactly. Could be 2002, whatever.
Yeah. And then, yeah, so you don't know what's happened to him within that time. He could have got captured again. They could have mind-wiped him. Or he could have, like, secondary mutation where he's become more feral and look like what he looks like now. Yeah, it's kind of one of the only things that they kind of retcon and make sense.
Yeah.
Amongst all the other retcons they do.
I don't think, by the way, Tyler Mane did a bad job with
No.
Sabretooth. But he was the feral's more... Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like... You'd be Sabretooth living in the forest, you know, killing fish to eat or flying bears in, you know, whatever for his territory, all that stuff. Yeah. Rather than Sabretooth. Which I don't know. I mean, like Sabretooth is a wacky character. I will put it that way.
Yeah. Yes.
Do you mind that they didn't have the backstory before Wolverine and Sabretooth? Do you think it mattered?
No, because I thought, okay, they might explore this later on. Which they don't.
Well, there's ways to make it work, but then again, if you're gonna base the whole movie on Wolverine doesn't know his memories, and then have some random dude attack him every so often, as far as he knows, and then you work out they have a backstory. Fair enough, but that's not where they went to.
No.
What did you think of X-Men 2?
X-Men 2. To me, to this day, is still like one of the best comic book movies ever.
Okay.
Just alone on the beginning scene with Nightcrawler in the White House.
Oh yeah, that would look really good.
Yeah, that still holds up to this day. Yeah, that's like 22 years. That's like 20 years ago now. So you know.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
I did like, by the way, when they started using more of the actual X-Men main theme. On that one, and then they didn't have it in X3, but then they brought it back for Days of Future Past. So that was cool.
And X2 had a really good story as well. It flushed out a lot of the Wolverine backstory.
Yeah. It wasn't too like gave me the Berserker Rage moment, but also it wasn't too special effects heavy.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't. You know what? Even here's the funny thing, right? In these two X-Men movies, the final fight is a fist fight.
Yeah.
You got a whole bunch of people with powers and we're just gonna fisticuffs, yeah. When I say the final fights, I mean in the Statue of Liberty, where it's Wolverine versus Sabretooth at the top for some reason or another, and Cyclops decides to Storm, pulls a lightning bolt, and Magneto's like, "You're an idiot because this is
that metal."
yeah. Whatever. Yeah. And then he goes, and I thought you people went to a school.
Yeah, that was funny.
He's shading Cyclops.
Yeah. He has a point though. But
and Cyclops also getting knocked. That Lady Deathstrike being lethal. Okay, done. Cyclops down. Yeah, all right. Proportionally, how quickly she made a mockery of Cyclops compared to how long they were fighting. She was fighting Wolverine for. Hey, whatever. Yeah.
Well. I would say Lady Deathstrike has it over Cyclops. Yeah,
well, I will also say this as well. Cyclops did get a little bit of a good chance to shine because he beat up all them security guards.
Yeah.
However, then he was not utilized. He had not much time used at the beginning of the film, and then he came back for the end of the film.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, Cyclops, right, okay. And meanwhile, Wolverine for the rest of the film was trying to steal your woman.
Yep.
And then when meant to be going, yeah, Wolverine, you do it, and I'm like, no, because that's shady. That's shady behavior right there.
Big time. Yeah.
And this guy Cyclops, it's different when you get in the high school films or whatever. It's the guy is just being a dick.
Yeah.
But Cyclops ain't being a dick.
No.
And even though he was telling Wolverine to stay away from his woman, he was like, dude, you're making moves on my lady, you know?
Yeah, man, have some respect, you know?
Yeah. You know what? They could have made him less adversarial in those lines, even though I get the idea of it.
Yeah.
You know? If he just said, dude, have some respect, man. That's a bit different from stay away from my girl.
Yeah. Big difference.
Yeah. But yeah.
And they introduced like new characters in X2. You got Pyro.
Oh, hold on. Let me just tag at the end of X1. What did you think of Mystique's suddenly, massively improved fighting abilities? Because she never had those in the comics.
I have no problem with that. Kind of makes sense.
I'll tell you what did make sense though. When she was fighting Wolverine with her claws,
Yeah.
and then Wolverine sliced them claws.
Yeah.
That means he sliced the body part off her, right?
Yeah.
No wonder why she was screaming, but no blood was coming out.
No.
Yeah. So I don't want to say that didn't make sense, but whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I like the bit at the end where they're still throwing more shit at Cyclops when Cyclops says, when Wolverine's after his fight with Mystique, who turned into Wolverine, Cyclops, they find Wolverine and Wolverine's like, oh, wait, don't shoot, it's me. And then Cyclops says, prove it. And then Wolverine,
you're a dick.
Wolverine, yeah.
Checks out.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah. But yeah. What? Okay. So you're praising X1 and 2.
Yep.
X3.
X3. Where do I start? Where do I begin?
Okay.
It tried.
Yes.
I give it credit for trying.
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
look. Go on.
It gets a bad flag. All right, it's not actually a terrible film. It's just it takes a sharp left from the first two.
Yes.
Which are more like not really action films, but you know what I mean. They're like sort of an ensemble cast film, like the first two. Yeah. And then this one tries to be like some action film.
Yeah.
And it just feels weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say as well that Cyclops got shafted here once again.
Yeah, he did. Big time
on-screen death.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Big time.
I don't think it was badly, like, as far as consistency of direction is concerned. Because first two were done by Brian Singer and the third one was done by Brett Ratner. I think visually it looked similar. Stylistically, it also looks similar. I don't think it was like a massive directorial difference.
No.
The story was what was iffy.
Yeah.
So they should say he had a real good story to work with.
Yeah.
You probably wouldn't have noticed that there was So in a way, Brett Ratner wasn't a bad directorial choice at all.
No. And like,
even though Matthew Vaughn was much better one because anyways.
Like when you hear a lot of the backstory behind X3, you're like, oh wow, he kind of did what he could with what he was given. Yep. Yeah.
Matthew Vaughn was going to direct, even though he did first class, he was initially going to direct this, and then he was like, nah, like all this crazy stuff that's happening. He was like, nah, peace out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just changing too much stuff.
Yeah, like there was like a lot of studio meddling in this one, isn't it?
Yeah. Dark Phoenix. So, okay, would you prefer the Cure storyline, or the Dark Phoenix storyline, or something a different, like a different storyline altogether?
I didn't mind the Cure storyline.
Okay, but you would think it would have been better if they didn't have the Dark Phoenix storyline on top of that.
Yeah,
I think that would have made a bit more sense. Though I get what they're saying is because they're big storylines in themselves. That's why they don't mesh.
They mesh.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the problem with the Dark Phoenix one as well, like in the comics and stuff, the Hellfire Club have a big thing to do with the whole Dark Phoenix.
And what's the other one? What's the other? The Imperial Guard as well.
Yeah.
So
you kind
not
of
that you could have that appear there in outer space.
Yeah.
Coming to the X-Men 3, it'd be a bit.
It'd be bare random. Like, wait, what? Where?
Yeah.
Who? Yeah.
Yeah, and you couldn't really do it with another superhero team because they don't exist.
Yeah.
So you couldn't exactly have the Avengers come in and go, X-Men, right? We're going to fight you on the moon because...
Yeah. So it's that sort of stuff. And, just... The Cure part of it, to me, is good.
Yeah.
But then... And even the whole Magneto kind of like... not mind wiping, but like taking advantage of Jean Grey and stuff was pretty good. Yeah. But then it's a lot of it just doesn't compute, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I did like it at the end when they like so Magneto's characterization is consistent. When Mystique jumped in front of the Cure bullet injection bullets, wherever they are, start Magneto getting shot, and she turned back to human. he's like, "Oh, I'm afraid, my dear, you're one of them. I ain't gonna help you."
Yeah.
And then when he got done himself,
Yeah.
which was a decent plan, by the way, because like he expected Wolverine to act stupid, right? Just come at me, bro. Even though you got a metal skeleton.
Yeah.
All right. And then he got out. Then he's like using all the muscles except for the one that counts.
Yeah.
And then Wolverine's like, actually, I did use that one. And Beast comes along and shanks
shanks him with the cures.
Yeah, several of them, by the way.
Yeah, all the cures. Yeah.
And then he's like, all right, well, yeah. Now what? Now what, Magneto?
I'm one of them now. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he sheepishly runs away when G is just murdering everything in sight.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And he's like,
so good.
I didn't mind also that the face off that Pyro and Iceman had, where he's flinging the Magneto is flinging the cars, and Pyro's turning him into flames, and then Iceman's gonna go in there and fight.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, and then when Pyro's blasting Iceman with he can control the flame, but he can't create the flame.
Yes, he's got the I'll say gasoline. He's got the flamethrowers. Yeah.
The Spider-Man web shooters, which are flamethrowers, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, the flamethrowers. They're lighters. Because he just needs the split, the spark, right, to control the flame.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, and then Iceman is trying. They're doing the fire ice blast sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then Iceman turns into ice, grabs the wrist, turns them to, and then he does a icicle headbutt. And I was like, okay, yeah, that was a good moment. That they saved the ice transformation for a particular reason that made sense.
Yeah, I was like, that's cool. That's cool. Because I thought they wouldn't ever do it, and then they did. That's good.
What did you think of this Colossus?
He was okay.
Yeah, and he didn't get many lines. He got one line in X-Men 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can help you. No, you help them.
Yeah, and then he get no lines in X-Men 3.
Didn't he speak in X-Men 3 at all?
I don't think I can't remember him speaking in X-Men 3 if that's the case. And then he fights. Oh, I thought we were going to get a Colossus Juggernaut fight, but hey.
I don't know if I class that as Juggernaut.
Oh my goodness, what did you think of Juggernaut?
At first, when I was like, "Oh, it's Vinnie Jones, that's pretty cool," and then he spoke, I was like, "Oh, okay,
yeah,
cool."
Well, okay, what did you think of the fact that they changed Juggernaut's thingamajig origin to mutation? Now the Crimson Gen of Citarek.
Yeah.
I guess magic is a bit weird to use in this universe or whatever. I mean, you could write in, but then you'd have to. I think there's a lot more bother to do it.
Yeah.
At this point in time, when the story doesn't go in that direction.
Yeah.
But they just didn't have to have Juggernaut, or they just didn't have to explain his ability.
Like,
I thought the muscle suit, by the way. Go on, sorry. No,
go on. You say your bit.
I was gonna say, actually, I don't think the muscle suit looked bad, but it's just because we know what Vinnie Jones does look like.
Yeah.
It looks off-key.
Yeah. Like, I had no problem with him changing to a mutant, because at this point, I'm pretty sure, like, if you ask 90% of people, they probably think Juggernaut is a mutant anyway.
yeah.
So it's like, I'm alright with that. I can... Like, them making him British, and then not ever mentioning that he's related to Charles Xavier was kind of like, that makes no sense. You have a perfect opportunity to say they're brothers. Or step brothers. Yeah. But it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Wait,
and let me just backtrack a second. Did you expect Gambit to be in this lineup?
No.
Okay.
No.
Do you think it's better for it that he isn't?
Yeah.
Okay. But with Rogues in it, you expect Gambit to be in it. And I'm not sure about the... Not that it didn't matter in the movie, right? But were you thinking, okay, Rogue and Iceman having a relationship, it's not faithful to the comics. Did that matter, or
no? It didn't matter, because like, if you bring Gambit in, he's gonna have to be significantly older, and then that starts making problems. Because remember, she's like 15, 16, right?
Well, no, 18?
I wouldn't say she's 18 at this point.
No?
Nah.
Okay. I suppose.
Like, yeah, so Gambit would have to be in his mid-20s, late 20s. So, yeah, that...
Okay, alright, fair enough.
Yeah. So that would be really odd.
You're saying that they couldn't have had a young Gambit in there?
Nah, because Gambit's always come off as that, not sleazy dude, but that dude in his 20s or 30s who still doesn't sort of know what he's doing with his life.
Alright. Yeah. I get what you're saying.
So,
Okay, so what do you think of the storyline for X-Men 1, which was basically Magneto's like, yo, if we turn every human into mutants, everyone in this part, all the political figures of America, right? That's what he was going for at that point.
Yeah.
And they obviously are not going to enact no anti-mutant laws because they're going to be mutants as well, and they're not going to be hypocrites. Yeah. Even though humans are hypocritical anyways. So
that's
whatever.
the thing, yeah.
People be people. And Magneto being a hypocrite because he's going to kill Rogue, putting her in the machine.
Yeah. Even though he's always saying how all mutant life is precious, but you're going to kill him.
Yeah. And then he's not going to sacrifice his own life to do that. So, yeah.
Yeah, biggest hypocrite. That's why Magneto is awesome. Well,
Yeah. But I liked the first one. It made sense. It's low key. It's not too white over the top. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cyclops doesn't get to do as much as I would like him to do.
Yeah.
There's some cringe lines, like we're saying about the Toad line. But overall, I don't think it's bad. When you watch it, if you watch it back again, you would think maybe it's a big budget TV pilot show for something, you know?
Nowadays, yeah.
Yeah.
Like then, obviously not. But if you look at it now, yeah.
So X2, it was kind of the adaptation of God Loves Man Kills.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't, because it had Stryker in it, but he was the Colonel, which is fine.
Which kind of makes more sense.
yeah, even though it's even more hypocritical if he's a Revenant. So it kind of depends on how you take it. But they cut the key elements, and only that. Then he uses his mutant son to enact his plans, even though he hates mutants. So yeah, whatever. Right?
Villain's got a villain, man. You know. Again, makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I actually
prefer
this version of Man Loves God Kills. Oh, God Loves Man Kills than the comic version. Because they don't go over the top. They don't start using. What if they called you the N word? Like wow. It's not the same, but okay, wow.
yeah. I'm like, whoa! You just went from 100, right?
Yeah, it's like I can see where you're going with this, but you shouldn't be going there.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so stupid.
But yeah, and that's what I think what makes X3 look really odd in comparison, because the Cure storyline was a smaller storyline.
Yeah.
And then you had the Dark Phoenix thing tied onto the end, where she's just like turning everyone into dust, Thanos style.
Yeah. Oh wow! It inspired the dust. No,
it probably didn't.
No, it did. I'm saying it did. Yeah.
But I like the logic, by the way, of Wolverine. It's like, I have to kill her, but I'm the only one that heals, so I have to just basically walk through getting.
I like that part as well. That whole bit was
good. What's very strategic on Jean's part for PG-13.
Yeah.
Is parts of Wolverine's costume are get disappearing, right?
Yeah.
Except for the crotch area.
Yeah.
Now, all right, Jean Grey, you might or may not have a thing for Logan.
Yeah.
As far as the movies are concerned, and maybe okay. I suppose mentally, subconsciously, you're like, oh, I do want to see this guy topless, but then you're like, it's got to be a bit classy, so we're going to keep those bits covered. All right. And I did like how the effects were where you could see his skeleton underneath.
Yeah, that was good as well, man. That was really good. Where every time she did I want to say her incineration wave, you see just bits of his face burn off and re-heal. Like, that's pretty good.
And then what it took was one shank. in her stomach didn't even shank her heart or anything like that.
Oh yeah, no stomach. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Unless you shanked the claw upwards into her stomach and it went through her rib cage.
Yeah.
To be fair, you didn't see the exact shank. You just heard it. So
you just heard it.
And
like it
that
kind of makes sense how he killed her.
But as far as in comparison to the Dark Phoenix saga, yeah, it was a bit of a
whimper
kind of
yeah.
I would have heard they just used this.
Another thing about just going back to X3, I can't call it X3. It's not called that. Go back to Last Stand.
Yeah. That's
the weird introduction of Angel, who literally does nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Nothing. Like,
and
he has that little bit at the beginning where you see him as a kid, and he's like fighting off his wings and stuff. And then the only sort of somewhat importance he has to this story is that his dad's got something to do with the people that made the cure. That's literally it.
And then he flies and rescues his dad, who gets thrown off the building.
Yeah, it's like...
And then they have the nerve to put him in a costume in the poster.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah. How dare they? Sorry.
Yeah. Well, no, it's just false advertising, isn't it?
Yeah. Which I have no problem with, but just like... Angel was pointless. Pointless. Like,
and then obviously he's a different... That's Warren Worthington the third, yeah? So Warren Worthington the second was in X-Men Apocalypse. But then his dad has to be Warren Worthington the second, who clearly did not have wings.
I think you're thinking way too much into this.
I'm trying to reconcile. That's why I'm saying it's a separate timeline, because stuff don't make sense.
I don't think it is. Like, I think, like, certain... For example, the acts of Mystique in Days of Future Past in 1974 changed like certain things in the timeline. Yeah,
but doesn't change Angel being born years before he was actually born.
Yeah, it could do.
I suppose that could no, because he'd have to, because that takes place 10 years. Like Days of Future Past.
Yep.
X-Men Apocalypse takes place 10 years after Days of Future Past. Yep.
Wait. I think it's roughly around that.
So Angel has to be born because he's 20 something in the X-Men Apocalypse. Even if you're going to say he's 19, right? He'd have to be 9 years old then in Days of Future Past.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Yeah.
Unless they're just saying they're just hoping that no one remembers, which that's my theory. They're just hoping no one remembers. Yeah.
They're just no. One of them's Angel. Did they actually call that guy Warren Worthington the third in X-Men Apocalypse? Because he just could be a dude with angel wings. There are people with replicant powers here.
You got a good point. Good point.
Yeah. But yeah, I think they could have just had the storyline of whether, like, they got the mutants that want to take the cure, and the mutants that don't want to take the cure, and then you just have the like people like Magneto, like, look, we're fine the way we are, blah blah blah. Let's go and take this place down because they're trying to forcibly cure all of us and stuff like that. Then you just literally to have his story out be, we'll ignore the people that want to take it.
Yeah.
Because we want our powers, sort of ish, you know. Even though I think Rogue has a point when I think she was saying that, like, Storm was like, "Oh, you know, we don't need to take the cure. We're fine the way we are."
Yeah.
And then like, oh no, I think she was speaking to Beast, and Beast is like, "Well, yeah, but you look normal. Look at me. You know, if I have a cure, I could probably, it would change my life to take it." Which, okay, is a fair point. But like, as far in the movie, you should have the people that like the extremes, and that's what causes the conflict.
Yeah, they missed out on all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think of in the final battle where they only had like they had Beast, Wolverine,
Cyclops, Kitty Pryde. Even though she can't do nothing. Storm.
And Iceman.
Wait, did I say Cyclops? I meant Colossus.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, was it?
Yeah, they don't really. I mean, there's that was 6 of them. Hold the line. I'm like, yeah, but you find an army of evil mutants here.
Yeah.
Even though you've got the an actual anti-mutant. Well, I don't know. I want to say they were an anti-mutant army, but they were the military.
Pro-mutant.
Sorry.
Wait. Yeah, good point. Yeah.
They were the military with the cure items, you know, in their as ammo, which makes sense. If they're storming your base and going to murder all of you, you are going to bust that stuff out.
Yeah, of course.
However, how do you know not to hit one? Don't hit the guys in black. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
That helps a lot. Oh wait, the pro mutant guys as well. Some of them wearing black too. Okay.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Oh. You know how it is. We accidentally on purpose shoot the people that you. Yeah. Oh. Which then leads me to think, if Wolverine took the cure, I mean, got hit with the cure, what would happen? Because would he heal out the cure? Would he not? You know.
I think he would. Unless he got like repeated doses at once, then I think that would like.
But yeah, probably one. Like as far as where headcanon is concerned, we're saying one may not be enough. No. 2, I don't know, but you'd have to spam him quite powerful, quite a lot, right?
Yeah.
Do you, what did you think if they had to have the Callisto and Storm have a little tussle, even though that was more of a nudge, wink, wink than anything else?
I was like, oh, okay, because I kept on forgetting it was Callisto. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, okay.
And Psylocke was also in this.
Yes.
Which it was like,
even though they kind of never actually called her Psylocke, but yeah.
Yeah, it was like, why? Yeah. Oh, she's Asian looking.
Yeah.
And she's got purple dyed hair streak. All right.
Okay. I guess.
You know, I mean,
question mark.
Yeah, exactly. You know, don't have any Psylocke style stuff. And fair enough, obviously you're not gonna have her dress like Psylocke.
No. Not until later, but
yeah. But if you're gonna have these characters in there, are you gonna give them something to do? Nah, we don't. You know,
don't be silly.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh Jesus. Oh.
But yeah, no. As a trilogy, what did you think of it?
As a trilogy, the first 2/3. Actually, you know what? I liked it all. Think about it now, because like I said before, 3 isn't that bad. It got a bad rap because of the tonal shift between that and the other ones, but it's not a terrible film.
Yeah, you take away the Dark Phoenix aspects of it, and it's more coherent.
Yeah.
It just they don't build really to the Dark Phoenix bits much.
No.
Aside from taking what was previously like, Jean Grey died in the flood of number 2. Yeah, because she was holding back the whatever it was called.
Yeah, the Salt Lake flood thing. Yeah.
But anything else? Well, I don't know about that much. But like you say, that was that. Yeah, because when Juggernaut decides to fight Wolverine and she throws him through the building and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
Xavier's house. And then you have Xavier trying to talk down Jean Grey, and then they don't. So she dusts him.
Yeah.
But the problem, of course, is how he comes back, because they don't explain that. They do
explain it. Like they drop the hint to it, so it's like that makes sense.
They do explain something, but they don't explain much. Is the problem? They're like, oh yeah, well, is it ethical for someone to jump into a coma patient's mind? They're not explaining that a coma patient was his twin brother.
No, I saw it as that bit as because they do this in the comic as well.
Yeah.
He uses his powers to make people see.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's how they got around it in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna make a joke that's what's Charles Xavier's twin sister's name? I forgot. Cassandra, right?
Cassandra Nova. Yeah.
Yeah. So that could have been Cassandra Nova, kind of, but not really. You know, the male version. But anyways, Evil woman. Yeah, they could have just said that. how you said it would have made a lot more sense to do it like that.
Yeah, because I think they like, even though we're not going to talk about these films at the moment, but like when Days of Future Past came out, leading up to it, they did some like huge sort of like this website basically that gave you year by year events to the bad timeline.
Okay.
Like how they got to where that's how the Sentinels are taking over the Earth, and that's the only there's a like big detailed thing on all the steps of it in there, and one of them with that it says I think it's like 2007 or 2006 whenever Last Stand happened, that Xavier went into a new body and he used his powers to make people see his face.
Okay, cool.
It
would have been nice for them to actually explain it in the movie.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things like, oh, you should do the research. Well, no.
Yeah, well, not to say. I mean, we saw this guy die, so to me, he just recompiled himself. Did he? Like, okay, what's gonna happen is people see him die, and he's in a body, and whatever, right? Okay, but then, even if he's that person's body, how come he doesn't have legs? How come he can't walk?
Because the person in a coma can't walk anymore. Convenience, but
All right. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say there's leaps of logic or anything like that, because they're not, But it's just one of those things where you're like, well, shouldn't he be able to walk then? Unless you're going to say like, if it was a psychic mental thing, because it's good in the X-Men 2 where where Jason was trying to make him feel like he was walking.
Yeah.
And then he looked down right away and he's like, kind of happy that he could walk, but at the same time, he just knew right away it was wrong.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You could just say it's for him, it's a mental thing that he can't. He knows for so many years he couldn't walk.
Yeah.
So even if he jumped into someone else's body, he'd probably just, I've never been able to walk for 30 plus years of my life.
Yeah.
Automatically, I can't. Mental block.
Yeah. Which kind of explain in like the other films later on.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, they they do explain stuff conveniently. He's got something that can make him walk at the expense of his powers. All right, whatever.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Even though he made an appearance at the end of the Wolverine film.
Yeah.
No, not the Wolverine film. Sorry, Wolverine Origins, where he could walk. But where he was standing, anyways, right? Where he was standing, not necessarily he could walk. He was standing still. So,
but
all right.
Then again, playing devil's advocate sort of thing. How do we know that was actually him and he wasn't still on the plane? And he was just projecting himself in them.
Yeah. Exactly. Any inconsistencies, it was Charles Xavier projecting himself, just like anything with Doctor Doom. It's a Doombot.
Yeah, Doom was never here, sort of thing. Yeah. I guess that's one of the good things about being one of the most powerfulest psychics in the world. You can just use that as any excuse for any inconsistencies.
Yeah. But overall, I think I enjoyed the X-Men films.
Same.
I haven't watched them for a long time, and probably my least watched one is X-Men 3, but that's because there's the amount of different, but it's like that came out like in 2006.
Yeah.
X2 came in 2003, so you'll have ones that you watch more because they came out beforehand.
Yeah.
Is that the same with you, or did you watch?
I've seen X3 enough. It's probably my least watched out of all of them, but I've seen it enough. And like, there's bits from I grown through it, like, oh yeah, this happens. I.e., Cyclops getting killed. Like just bits like that. It's like, okay. But then there's bits where I'm like, I generally like, yeah, this is cool. Like you said before, when they go to Jean's house and they try to get her back, that whole fight scene to me was pretty cool. Like how it was shot and everything. So I'll watch that bit. And even Xavier's death was pretty cool. Yeah.
Even though, I mean, it's Charles Xavier. He only died once. No, twice in the movies. He only died once. He died twice if you count X Days of Future Past, right?
Yeah, if you count that. Yeah.
But yeah, hey, like, you know, Charles has got way more times to die to catch up with his actual self. So,
bloody hell.
Yeah. But no, they're cool films. But when you look at them back, you're like, all right, because stuff, the way that superhero films are now, even when you look back at Iron Man 1, right?
Yeah.
Even though I had to send them out, even when you look at, for example, Batman Begins, and Batman Begins is a crime film.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when they take it in different routes, different things happen.
Yeah.
But they get more fantastical later on because look at, by the time we get to X-Men Apocalypse and X-Men Dark Phoenix, even though you could argue Days of Future Past as well.
Yeah.
Because I think First Class is still low key enough to be like, all right, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's not too. But did you? Were you kind of like, why is there no team face-offs in X-Men 1, 2, or 3? Well, no, yeah, team versus team face-offs.
I don't know, like how it was sort of written and stuff, and like it didn't occur to me to think of that. Like, oh no, why isn't it this?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Were you expecting Magneto to have more of a bigger lineup by the time the other X-Men films happened for his Brotherhood of Mutants?
Not really, because like Magneto himself, realistically, could probably kill everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. That's the thing. That's what I was gonna say. It was like, okay, he's super powerful. He could do a lot of things by himself, actually.
Yeah.
And when you compare the people that he had with Toad, all right, okay, well, you know, there's not a lot that Toad could do to help.
Yeah. You know, he's like, if anything, he's like a D-level mutant if you think about it.
Yeah. What's his name? Sabretooth? Well, you know, I mean, he disappeared after the first film, so...
Yeah. But he does come back in X-Men 3, the game, and it kind of explains where he is. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, hold on. Okay. You know what? Closing up, actually, you explained... which of the video games did you play? I haven't played any of them, but I was going to ask you...
What, the quote-unquote X-Men movie game tie-ins?
Yes.
All right. I had all 3 of them. One is not a tie-in whatsoever. It's a fighting game.
So what was that called?
What was it? 1 second. Let me quickly check. It's like X-Men Academies. Oh, give me a second.
Okay.
1 second.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they just slapped on the X-Men name onto it because of it was coming out around the same time. Right, where is it?
And you're telling me it wasn't nothing to do with nothing, really.
It. X-Men Mutant Academy, and there's a little sticker slapped on it saying featuring costumes from the movie. Literally, that's the only thing I had to do with the movie.
Not even a tie-in, you would say.
No, not a tie-in whatsoever.
Okay.
And then you had X2 Wolverine's Revenge.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with
with anything either.
No, except for they put Hugh Jackman on the cover.
Okay.
And
Wolverine looks like Hugh Jackman.
No. Doesn't look nothing like Hugh Jackman. He's voiced by Mark Hamill.
All right.
And it's a good game. I'm not gonna lie. Actually, it's such a pretty sick game. It's basically Wolverine finds out that he's dying.
Okay.
And then you're trying to find out why he's dying, and then it's got something to do with the Weapon X facility, and Lady Deathstrike poisoning him.
Yeah.
And you fight. So it's an awesome game.
Okay.
But it has, again, nothing to do with the film whatsoever.
All right. Even though he's claiming that it does.
Yeah. Because of the front cover. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
even though, yeah, the front cover looks like it does, but the in the game itself doesn't say that it does. Is that what you're saying to me?
Basically,
it's marketed as though it, you know.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. And then, but it's a pretty good game because it's got cameos from like Colossus, Professor Xavier, who is voiced by Patrick Stewart. So that's the only sort of thing there. Beast, you fight Omega Red, Juggernaut. Yeah, it's pretty good. And then
well, it's meant to be in continuity with the games, but I mean, it could / couldn't be. Yeah, it's up to whoever.
Like, if anything, it's more in continuity with another set of X-Men games, X-Men Legend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's more in line with that. But
Yeah.
then you have X3, the official game.
Okay. Which
And
is
that actually
it a side story, a sequel? What's it meant to be?
It's bridging the gap between X-Men 3 and 2.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were saying it gives you backstory
on Sabretooth and Jean getting taken over by the Phoenix.
Okay. So what happened to Sabretooth, by the way?
He just went rogue, and then Wolverine's hunting him down to try and find out his past, but never finds out his past.
Okay.
And then you do missions as Iceman, trying to stop the Sentinels from being made.
Yeah.
And yeah, Iceman and Nightcrawler. You play as Wolverine, Nightcrawler, or Iceman, different parts of the game.
Okay.
And their sort of part of the story is trying to stop the Sentinels being made and just that crap, basically.
Okay, so just like it sounds to me, by the way, as far as you were saying about Sabretooth is concerned, is they didn't want to do too much in case they contradicted anything.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so they decided to tease and give nothing.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, all right. Okay,
basically.
fair enough. Fair enough.
But yeah, it's
would you have liked to have... Sorry?
No, I was going to say it's a bog standard game. It's nothing special.
Yeah.
But
would you have liked to have seen... what would Bryan Singer have done with X-Men 3?
From what I heard about it, yeah, it would have been alright, if I'm honest.
They were saying, I think he was... So, his X-Men 3, he was going to do a storyline in Ultimate X-Men that covered that. Except that never ended up happening.
Oh, because I know wasn't like Emma Frost meant to be in it and she's going to be played by Sigourney Weaver, I think.
I think that was one of the ideas
of
something in it. And I think it was probably likely Dark Phoenix Saga but done properly, except they've had two shots at the Dark Phoenix Saga now, and they
messed
have not
them up.
Yeah. Do you reckon that that Dark Phoenix Saga is more of a 13 like I wouldn't say 13 episode, but like a TV series sort of thing, because you need to spread it out. You can't just do it in the space of an hour movie, even if you're doing 2 movies, depending on the length of it.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things. I think it's better off on the TV series because you can spread it out for more time and give it more gravitas.
I would personally,
even though you couldn't, the cast would be expensive for it.
Yeah, I personally think something like Dark Phoenix, you're best off doing it animated.
Yeah,
it makes more sense.
It
was like, I think we spoke about before, like there's another saga or something in comics, or might be in DC comic or something. We said that the only way you could sort of make it work if you do it animated, but I can't remember for the life.
Was it a Snyder cut?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. That probably be the same sort of option for Dark Phoenix. You got to do it like that.
Yeah.
Logistically, it's a nightmare when you think about like trying to film something like that. That's a nightmare.
I think what it is as well, Hellfire Club, fine. If you keep it as the Hellfire Club, yeah. But if you're adapting the Shia Empire and all that stuff, it gets a bit like, where do you get these space aliens from?
Yeah, exactly. It gets
these are mutants. These are people like humanoids with abilities.
Yeah.
When you go to that area in outer space, even though they don't have to have it, and they could just have another set of mutants called the quote unquote Shia Empire. But then people would be like, that's kind of a bit, okay, fine. You have the X-Men, you have the Brotherhood of Mutants, we have the Shia Empire, even though whatever. Why they called that? It doesn't make sense, but whatever.
Yeah, you start to be like, this is weird now.
But overall, you're saying, you know what? I think like you're saying, number 3 gets a worse rap than it needs to have. However, I think that if you have if you fit around the edit, you can make a cohesive film, hopefully, out of it.
Yeah, hopefully.
That is better. I think they just tried too much. To be fair, the end of X-Men 2 had Jean in the water with the Phoenix going over her and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they kind of pushed in that direction already. But they didn't need to make the Phoenix be her alternate personality, whatever, because that would I was like...
Yeah.
I don't know about that. And then Charles Xavier just like, she had mental issues. I buried them.
Yeah.
All right, Charles, you got to just pretend. That stuff's not going to bite you back at all, right?
No, it won't. Right.
Yeah, and then Magneto Magneto feeding the dragon thing. No, come on, you can take some more of this. You know what? Your abilities. Come on, I'll feed you some more. They hate you. Come on, we'll be all powerful and stuff like that. Like Magneto, you're such a pusher.
But you know what? It's a funny, like one thing. Of sort of going back to like X3, I liked about when she kills Charles, and then you can see Magneto's face like, I think I've gone too far. It's like, oh.
But then he's like, you know what, Jean? We're going to cut a promo in the forest somewhere where Wolverine tries to fight us, but we just send him into a whole bunch of trees.
Yep.
And then we're going to go and invade. We're going to tear the bridge apart so we can go to Alcatraz Island and start. Yeah. Wait till nightfall, people, by the way, because it's more dramatic. Yeah. Even though we've called them off. No, we'll just wait until dawn and then we'll go. Yeah. Even
though they know we've like done this bridge and we're going there.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
Hilarious.
But yeah, no. I think they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool films overall. I wouldn't say necessarily a product of their time, but the first one definitely was.
Yeah, the first one was. Yeah.
I think they could probably be flexible in their timeline.
Yeah.
Because it's nothing that dates them too much.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You're saying thumbs up to X-Men 1?
Yep, thumbs up. 2 thumbs up.
Thumbs up to X-Men 2?
Yep.
2 or 2.
2 thumbs up. That was 2.
And X-Men 3, you're saying...
Half a thumb.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll give it 1 thumb.
It tries to do too much in not enough time.
Yeah.
Essentially,
yeah.
And it introduced too many characters.
Yep.
At once. Look, it would need to trimmed down and fine-tuned, and it would have been fine.
Yeah.
But not that it's as bad as people make it out to be.
No, exactly.
I think it's just it's got way worse rap than
it should have. Yeah.
Because
like there's lots of modern day like comic book films, which I'll say is a lot worse than Last Stand.
Oh yeah. Okay. yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's a lot more. I'm like,
yeah. You would have thought, by the way, that if they're going to have a Last Stand against the brother, whatever you want to call Magneto's group, but the Misfit Mutants, whatever it is, because there's more. I don't know if you want to dub them the Brotherhood at that point because there's masses of them.
Yeah.
But you would have thought they would have had the X-Men be like, well, there's some kids that are going to be helpful here.
Yeah.
In the school, why don't we have them help us? Even though.
Let's have Jubilee, who we've teased for like 3 films so far, and we've never used her at all.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? Because even though they introduced a lot of characters, they introduced a lot of characters to the X-Men side.
Yeah.
Even though also they have a school that trains in this to how to take care of yourself and your abilities and stuff. Like you could have just had random students get into X shoots and say, "No, we'll go with you because." This is what the school is all about. This is why you get us do those training exercises and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I know you'd be like, okay, well, conveniently they're there, but how does 6 mutants fight a whole massive army of other mutants,
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure some of them are probably like military trained and stuff like that, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes no sense.
But yeah, okay, that'll be us signing off for this episode.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'm the black man who becomes a white man in the white little man in the prequels. CY Chong.
And I am the teenager who stays a teenager for 6 films, Carl Charles. That's again another Jubilee reference. Jubilee.
Even though she was in the 80s and also a teenager, yeah.
Yes. Again, see, makes no sense. And thank you for listening to us talk about the X-Men original trilogy. What was your favorite X-Men film? Let us know. And do you think without the X-Men films we wouldn't get what we have now? I kind of think that's true. That and Blade, if it weren't for those 2 films, we wouldn't have what we have now. And you could tell us by leaving a message in the old Instagram, like a little comment or whatever. Comment on our Instagram, YouTube page. You can leave us a tweet. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends about us. If you listen to this on the podcasting app stuff, you can please leave us a positive review and, you know, help us get our name out there. And until next time, guys, thank you for taking a trip with us around the multiverse. Bye.
Bye.
Boop.